Hey everybody, so in the fall I tend to read a ton of fantasy. I want to get lost in a world of wonder and magic, creatures and plot and just all sorts of exciting stuff. So today I'm here to make your fantasy TBR explode with a bunch of books that have either come out or are coming out that I need to make sure are on your fantasy TBR. So without further ado, let's get started. Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. It's Russell with Ink and Paper Blog. How are you doing today? As always, I hope you're happy, I hope you're healthy, I hope you're safe, and of course I hope you're reading an amazing book or two or three or four. Today's video is about all things fantasy. As you know, this is sort of my go-to subgenre whenever I need to just escape the world and go somewhere different. And I want to make sure that I get a bunch of really amazing fantasy books that were sent my way on your TBR. So, without further ado, get out that pen, get out that paper, get out that Goodreads, however you keep track of the TBR. If you're so able, get these books from your local independent bookstore, or if you're a library user, get yourself a library copy as soon as possible. The first book I want to tell you about is called The Phoenix Keeper by S.A. Maclean. This is out from Orbit Books here in the US. This is a queer romance / fantasy zoology sort of book. Our main character works at a zoo actually with the Phoenix exhibit, and something has happened. A heist has occurred at a neighboring zoo and she is in fear and she knows that something's coming and she needs to do something about it. So she has to enlist the help of her college nemesis, who also works at the zoo but works with the griffins, and together they have to figure out a way to tackle this threat to her, the zoo and the griffins and the phoenixes and all of that. And obviously it says the future of a species and her love life now rest on her shoulders. So there you go. That's The Phoenix Keeper by S.A. Maclean, and that's out from Orbit. And did you see how beautiful that cover was? Let's just get started on the fact that fantasy covers are always gorgeous. The next book that I want to tell you about is called Of Jaden Dragons by Chen. This is out from Viking Books. This is actually one of those like sort of mechanical fantasy where there's like this aspect of mechanical futurism in it. So our main character is actually an engineer. Her father is a world famous engineer, and that's all she has ever wanted to do. But for some reason her father is killed and she does not know why. And so what she decides to do is to role play as her brother and enter into the apprenticeship program that only males are allowed in for the engineering what's it called? Engineering group. That's the wrong word, but you know what I mean. And she has to sort of become friends with this prince, this like 8th level prince, and figure out what's going on. And as she sort of dives deeper and deeper in, something was going on with her dad, right? So she's in danger and she's got to figure it all out before something happens and she can put her dad's legacy to rest. So that's Of Jaden Dragons by Chen. That's out from Viking Books. Next, we're going to go for one of those like political financial fantasy novels, and that's Naval Navola by Pablo Bacigalupi, and this is out from Knopf Books. This book just is heavy in nature. I think that's really funny when you pick up a book and you just feel the weight of it. This is a financial fantasy book set in the world of Navola, where business is power and power is everything. Our main character comes from a family that's very, very wealthy and has been able to use their money to create good fortune for different parts of the world and destroy parts of the world. But our main character, his name is Devico de Reguli, is the sole heir to this family's fortune. Unfortunately, he has a soft heart and he doesn't have that killer instinct that the rest of his family does. And it says he prefers sunlit hills and green dappled forests to shady plots of his family, and something else beckons him. There's this fossil dragon eye on his dad's desk that he sees, and he can hear it calling out to him in an old magic, and he wants to go on that adventure. So that's Navola by Pablo Bacigalupi. I said that so well earlier. Bacigalupi, and this is out from Knopf Books here in the United States as you speak. You can get it on the shelves right now. The next book I'm going all over the place. All sorts of different fantasy for you all today. Out from Redhook, we have Daughter of the Merciful Deep by Leslye Penelope. Leslye Penelope, I have read a series of hers that I absolutely love. The Earth Singer Chronicles, I believe they're called. And this is a standalone fantasy novel. So our main character is Jane Edwards. She hasn't spoken since she was 11 years old when people came into her town and kicked out all of the black people in her town. Now she's found a total black community that she lives in 12 years later, but she hasn't spoken since. And a dam is about to be built that's going to put this city underwater. When all of a sudden, this mysterious man with talk of magic and folklore and connections to the past arrives, and she recognizes him. But the last time she saw him, he was dead in a river. And she doesn't know what to make of it, so she's going to investigate. So, I have really trusted Leslye Penelope to tell me some fantastic stories. I don't know if you remember, I talked about her book Monsters We Defy a couple of years ago. Was it years ago now? Time flies. So please, pick up any of her books. But if you want to pick up her newest book, Daughter of the Merciful Deep, out from Redhook, you can get your hands on it right now. Okay. Next is a small little novella that I'm actually going to use the novella to help me with the plot. But that's Navigational Entanglements by Aliette de Bodard. This is out from TorDotCom, who does such amazing little science fiction fantasy novellas. So this says, jockeying navigator clans guide spaceships through the Hollows, an area of space populated by the mysterious but deadly creatures known as Tanglers. When a Tangler escapes the Hollows for the first time in living memory, each clan must send a representative to help capture it. But the mission may be doomed, and the hearts of two clan juniors may be in danger too. Vietney is not good with people or politics, which is a problem when the Rooster clan sends her on the mission against her will, forcing her to work with an ill-matched group of squabbling teammates from rival clans, including one who she can't avoid and maybe doesn't want to. Hakuk, and I'm saying that now, Haccuc, of the Snake Clan has always been better at poisoning and stabbing than making friends, but she's drawn to Nee's perceptiveness and obliviousness to social conventions, including the ones that really should make Nee think twice about spending time with her. And so they've got to figure this out, and they're going to be, there's that romance element to it, and I'm here for it, and the Tanglers and all of that. So that's Navigational Entanglements by Aliette de Bodard, and this is out from TorDotCom. Okay, if you're ever looking for a fantasy novella, TorDotCom, they are the ones for you. They do an amazing job. And Orbit does an amazing job on giving me fantasy books that I never would have thought of, with interesting plots and all sorts of stuff. So let me tell you about Long Live Evil by Sarah Rees Brennan. Again, this is out from Orbit. It came out in July. And I love the idea of this book. So our main character is Ray. She is a reader in our world. She's a reader, and unfortunately she's very ill and she is dying, and she makes a magical bargain that allows her to enter the world of her favorite fantasy series. And she wakes up in the castle on the edge of a hellish chasm, home to the once and forever empire, and she's so excited to be part of this, only to find out she's not the heroine, she's the villain. Do you need any more than that? I think that sounds so good. So that's Long Live Evil. That's by Sarah Rees Brennan, and that's out from Orbit.com. This is going to be a stack, y'all, that I'm not going to be able to hold up at the end. But as always, I list every book, publisher, and everything down below so that you don't have to remember or write anything down. The next book I'm going to tell you about is a take on the Peter Pan story, and it's These Deathless Shores by P.H. Lowe, also out from Orbit. This came out in July. This is the story of Jordan. Jordan was once a lost boy, and convinced that she would never grow up. But now she's 22, and she's exiled from the world of fantasy and in the real world, and she's suffering. Things aren't going the way she thought they would. So she, with nothing left to lose, she returns to the land of Peter Pan, of princes and pirates and all of sorts of things, and she's off to face Peter for the final time, and on her own terms. And if that makes her the villain, so be it. So two very spicy villain narratives. So that's These Deathly Shores by P.H. Lowe, out from Orbit Books. Okay, I have just 3 more to tell you about. I'm going back to Redhook and telling you about the Enchanted Lies by Celeste Artois. You know what? I don't know if that skull is supposed to be. Oh my gosh, that is part of the title. Russell. The Enchanted Lies of Celeste Artois by Ryan Graudin. Goodness, I apologize, Ryan. I apologize for getting that all mixed up. I feel like I should be able to start all over. But this is got that sort of 1900s Paris vibe to it. Our main character, Celeste, wanted to be an artist, but that didn't work out. The Guild of Artists sort of destroyed her future. So she becomes a forger, and she becomes a really good one with her, what's the word? Her accomplice, the Enchantress. But everything changes for her when she meets Rafe, a mysterious stranger who offers her a world and this enchanted salon where they can make art come to life. But all she has to do for her being able to be allowed into this world is to give over her ability, her counterfeit abilities. Rafe offers Celeste an irresistible deal, the gift of time in exchange for lending her benefactors her forging talents. Now, I didn't say, on the back of the book it says that I think she starts to get consumption. She starts coughing blood into a handkerchief. But one must be careful making deals with devils, and there's more to this hidden world than meets the eye. Shadows have begun to circle Paris, and soon the Enchantress will find the true magic is far more powerful and deadly than they ever imagined. So, that's The Enchanted Lies of Celeste Artois by Ryan Graudin, out from Redhook. And I'm sorry I got the title of that all mixed up there for a minute. Okay. Next, second to last in this series, is The Scarlet Throne by Amy Lau. This is out from Orbit. This comes out in September. This one sounds really good too, because this is another one where it's not what you think it is. Our main character is Binsa, and she is the living goddess. I'm putting that in quotation marks because she's chosen by the gods to rule the people because the goddess is speaking through her. But she has a secret. The goddess is not speaking through her. It's actually a demon speaking through her. And now the council, the community has decided it's time for her to step down, and a new person, a new girl, Medea, M-E-D-H-A, to step in. But she doesn't want to go. So she makes a deal with that demon. She's like, I will give you whatever you want in order to stay in power. And I want to be in power. But she starts to learn very quickly that the sacrifices she is going to have to make to stay in power may be worse than she ever thought of. So that's The Scarlet Throne by Amy Lau, and that's out from Orbit right now. September, which is right now. September is right now. What is that? How did that happen? Last but not least is another novella out from TorDotCom that is coming out in, I think, October. Yes. And that's The Bloodless Prince by Charlotte Bond. Last but not least is the novella The Bloodless Prince by Charlotte Bond, which is out from TorDotCom, coming out in October, which is the second book in a series that I've already reviewed the Fireborn Blade for. So I'm not going to say a lot because what happens there definitely happens here. But this is, so far, I think it's 2 of 3 books that have come out. This is the story of a woman knight who we find out in the first book is on a quest to kill a dragon. In the second book, we see what happens after that quest has ended. There is intrigue, there is ghosts, there is people coming back from life. There's everything you need in a fantasy novel with dragons and magic and swords and knights and all of that. I promise you, you will absolutely love this series. So pick up The Fireborn Blade, pick up The Bloodless Princes, and enjoy the world of Charlotte Bond. Coming out from TorDotCom in October. That is it. I hope that fantasy TBR list really, really just makes you go out and buy one. I know you all are not fantasy readers, but I'm telling you, once you get lost in one of these worlds, you can't come back. I promise. As always, if you're a return subscriber, I couldn't do this without you. If you are new to my channel, I thank you so much. I hope you hit subscribe. I hope you find a book that you love. And as always, I encourage you to read globally, shop locally, and until next time, I wish you happy reading. Bye, everyone.